Hi guys, welcome to my channel Vinyl Beauty, or welcome back. I'm Debbie if you don't know me, and in today's video we're going to be doing a palette bingo. I haven't done one of those in the longest time and I've been promising that I will, so today's the day, and I thought I'd give myself a challenge as well. So we're going to be using the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Surge palette. It's a great palette, but it's going to be a challenge for a palette bingo because of the various different shades that are in here, or the types of shade. Because we could get all pastels, we could get potentially all neons or all dark shades, depending on what the palette gods are like towards us today. So if you want to see what kind of shades I get, what look I create, then please keep on watching. Okay, so I've pulled at random.org and we're going to choose 5 shades for this look today. So there's 30 shades in the palette. Our first shade is 29, then we've got number 5, we've got number 24, number 3, and number 23. Right, I don't think we've got too bad a colour story. I think I've been lucky today. So it's quite cohesive. We've got energy, we've got chills, we've got limitless, cheeks, and underneath. So I'm just going to swatch that out so that you can see what we're working with. Okay guys, so that's our colour story. Quite excited to play with that. We've got a couple of shimmers, we've got a pinky matte and a couple of blue, light blue mattes, but yeah, I think I can make something with that. Okay, I'm going to prime with the matte soft ochre paint pot. And I think I've got a bit of a plan for this look. The only thing I would have liked is a bit more depth in the look, but I think we're going to need to just use a liquid wing because there's nothing to say we can't bring other things into this. But at least we've got a cohesive colour story that's going to work, I think. I've got 2 shimmers. I probably would have been happier with just 1 shimmer. I think out of 5 shades 1 shimmer would probably have been enough, but I guess 2 shimmers, 3 mattes, it could have been worse. Okay, so to start the look I'm going to go in with cheeks, this one here in my inner corner. I'm not somebody that plays with pastels very often, so it's interesting that I've got a largely pastel palette to play with today. And nothing to really bring too much depth, so it'll be interesting, but I would never have chosen to put these colours together, and that's what the whole point of doing a palette bingo is all about, isn't it? Is to challenge yourself. So I'm going to use cheeks as kind of my inner corner highlight as well, so I'm bringing it right round onto my lower lash line. It's a pretty colour. It'd be great as a blending shade for a deeper colour, but it's our actual colour for this beginning of this look. I'm sort of going to do a multicoloured crease. I've chosen this brush because it's pretty good at blending, but I can sort of get a bit more precise in the inner corner and then lay it flat sort of to pack on the colour of my crease in the middle part of my crease, if that makes sense. Okay, that's as much as I want of that colour. Next I'm going to go in with chills, which is this one here. I'm just going to put that in the sort of outer part of my crease. Blend it a little bit in the centre there. This is a nice brush, but it's got a really short handle. I like to hold my brushes quite low down, so I'm running out of room on the end. For such a light colour, it's building up quite well, I think. It's a beautiful sunny day outside in the UK today. A lot nicer than it's been when I've been filming recently, and it kind of is fitting to do something as light as this, I think. Right, let's pat the colour down. Just want to spend a bit of time just blending it. I'm doing a sort of round shape here. The deepest matte we've got is a neon, which is this shade Energy, so we're going to pat that in the outer V. Probably going to use that as my lower lash line colour as well. Before I do the lower lash line, I'm just going to go in with White Core by LH Cosmetics in my waterline. And then I'm going to pack Energy in my outer V. That's a pretty colour. Reminds me a little bit of the pastel blue that's in the Creepy Cute palette by Shroud, if you guys are familiar. I'd normally go for a way deeper colour in my outer V, so this is interesting for me. But as I say, I am going to balance this with a black wing, otherwise it's going to look too pale, I think, for my taste and how I like my makeup to look. Swapping to a smudge brush though, and I'm going to smudge that same shade, that Energy shade, on my lower lash line. And meet it up with the inner corner. We have wrapped that cheek shade around, so it's one of these that's going to look super strange, I think, until it's balanced out with some black liner. Okay, then in with NYX Glitter Primer, I'm going to cut my lids with that. So I'm taking that kind of 2/3 of the way across my lid, so a little bit over that blue and a little bit higher than my natural crease. I'm going to take the underneath shade on the outer part and I'm going to put the Limitless shade on the inner part. I'm not mega impressed with that shimmer. These are like the beauty base shimmers where you're not going to get any payoff unless you use your fingers, which I hate to do, but I think that's what we're going to have to do, else we're not going to get any colour. See, as soon as you go in with your fingers, that's super opaque. Doesn't work with a brush at all, which is a negative for me, as I say, because I don't really like using my fingers in my makeup that much. Which is another reason why I don't do palette bingos very often, because you have to swatch the colours out to show people the colours, and honestly swatching makes me feel a bit icky. I don't like it. I don't even like watching swatches, like if I'm watching a video of a review of a palette, just even watching people swatch it out makes me feel a bit, oh, I know, I'm very strange. Right, just going to take that Limitless shade on the inner part. The problem you've got using your fingers is you've got no precision whatsoever. And they do look super beautiful once they're on, but just even getting it to that point is not easy. Just using the brush now sort of to carve that crease a little bit. Hopefully it will work for that, just to try and give us that little bit more precision. No, I don't like the shimmers very much in this palette. I just think that shimmers should always be able to be used with a brush. I know a lot of people like to use their fingers, as I say, but I think to be a good shimmer it should be able to be used either way. And that's a fabulous, just not really a fan of the shimmers, as I say. Right, pretty much got there though, we managed it. Okay, so that's every shade used. I'm aware it's looking pretty crazy. I think it'll come together when it's got the liner, mascara, a lip, etc. So I'm going to do all of that off camera and I'll be back with you to show you the finished look. Okay guys, so this is the finished look and now it's complete. I actually really like it. I was wondering for a minute or two there whether I was going to pull it off. Hands up if you thought I couldn't, because it was beginning to go that way, wasn't it? It's like too much like kind of candy tones, not enough to balance it out, no depth in the look. It's quite a difficult one to pull off for me. But I think the wing liner definitely helped. I need to kind of ground things with black if I've got too much bright colours going on and no depth in the outer corner. So I think that definitely worked. It would have been one to have lashes with. I think that would have really like made it fluttery and romantic and pretty, but alas, I still can't put them on. I've given up trying, but I think it looks okay. I'm quite pleased with the look. For lips today, I've gone in with a Jeffree Star Velvet Trap. This one's in the shade Always Faithful. I wanted kind of a purpley tone with a bit of pink to it. I think this one's perfect. But the star of the show to really pull the look together was this. And it's an oldie but goodie. It's the Kat Von D Fetish Cheek Palette. And I've got the eye palette as well. They're both good, but the cheek palette is fantastic. It's got this beautiful blush in there that I've used today called Bathory, and then Rose Shock is the highlight. And it just looks like I've got a sprinkling of fairy dust on my cheeks. I think it goes perfectly, as I say, with the ethereal makeup that's going on today. So yeah, this was super fun actually, and it's not something that I ever would have chosen to do when looking at that palette. I would have definitely chosen to do something a lot more deep and dark and dramatic. Probably would have done something neon and dark. Kind of want to do that now, so I might just choose my own colours for the next time I play with this palette. But it's such a fun palette, so many looks you can achieve from it. As I say, a palette bingo just pushes you out of your comfort zone, takes you to places you wouldn't normally think to go with your makeup, and that can only be a good thing. So if you want to replicate this one, it's super easy to do, as you can see. I hope some of you might, because it does look really, really pretty when it's finished. I hope you enjoyed seeing me do a palette bingo. I'd like to know if you'd like to see some more. I'd definitely like to do a few more. And also drop a comment, let me know what palettes you'd like to see a palette bingo with. Now the criteria for me for doing a palette bingo is it can't be a monochromatic palette, because that just doesn't work for palette bingo. So it almost needs to be a rainbow palette or a larger palette. I've got the Love Tahiti from Be Perfect. That might be another one that I might choose to do. But any other suggestions you've got, drop them in the comments for me, guys. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, I hope you might consider subscribing before you go. But other than that, guys, I hope you're keeping safe and well. Have a lovely day or night wherever you are, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.